Are you the type of guy that if it presented itself, you would want to smoke with a guy like that?
If the opportunity is there and he's in my way, I'm gonna take him out. That's my job as a boxer.
Happy hump day. It's the Dazn Boxing Show. I go by the name of Vak.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
The young killer knockout artist, Vergil Ortiz, he will be joining us today. And there's another guy who likes to knock people out, outbox them, beat them up. He's probably one of the top 2 best fighters in the world, Bud Crawford. Will he ever fight Spence? Let's get into that. It's the opening bell.
It seems as though one side of one of the biggest potential fights in boxing is willing to move on from a potential mega fight. Terrence Bud Crawford tells Behind the Gloves that he's done his part when it comes to inking a showdown with Errol Spence, and while he still wants that fight, he's now focused on the winner of Charlo Castaño 2 on March 19th. Now, come on, Ak. Now, I know he still wants that fight. I'm glad he's not saying, hey, that fight is behind me now. But for Terrence Crawford, who barely looks like a 147-pounder, you know he was a 140-pounder. At 147, yeah, he's a monster. He's killing everybody, but he looks small to me.
Listen, Barack, but his name ain't Woody Harrelson, but he's a natural-born killer, so he doesn't give a damn. He's ready for that smoke at 154. That's what great champions are made of. You know, he's the type of guy that is saying, okay, I know this is a fight that people want, but let's make something interesting here. What if I go up and fight one of the big names up there, a guy like Jermell Charlo? I love it, Barack, and actually, I like to see him fight somebody else at 154 first, see how his power carries up to that weight, how he poses against a bigger guy, and then maybe his second fight. I don't want to see him jump right into it, a fight with Charlo, but I like to talk.
I think he's just thinking that skills pay the bills. There's not too many people in the world that's as skillful as Crawford, but I do understand what you're saying, because who else is the killer? Charlo. At that weight class, he's the best at that weight class, 100%. He's proven that, and he's proven that he can box. Before he was this knockout puncher, before he got with Derrick James, he was a boxer. He was a boxer. He knows how to stick and move, so he knows how to do that if he had to, but he's a killer right now. And I never really thought that the Spence and Crawford fight wouldn't happen. I never thought that. But now, hearing this is scary. Because what if he goes there and is successful in that division? Now what? What does he come down to 147?
No, well, listen, obviously.
Or they meet up there, maybe?
Errol Spence won't be at 147 for his entire career. At least that's what I like to believe. He's a big 147-pounder. I mean, there were talks at one point him going up to middleweight to fight Canelo Alvarez. So if a mega fight against, and maybe still at the time, an undefeated Terrence Crawford at 154, it might even be a bigger fight down the line. Who knows? So, hopefully, he doesn't have to go up to 154 before fighting Errol Spence Jr. I would like to see that fight first. But I like the fact that he's creating some other options, and maybe the fact that he's a free agent now, he has a new team or new people around him. You know, other opportunities are presenting themselves. You know, maybe he might be in talks with Al Heyman. Who knows? All I know is that whoever Terrence Crawford fights next is going to be a hot ticket, especially if it's either one of those two guys.
Yeah, and also, for all the people who used to say, oh, why did Terrence re-sign with Bob Arum? You could sign with whoever the heck you want to sign with. Fighters should still be able to make fights. That's how I feel. Now, I'm saying that to say this guy wasn't ducking Spence all of these years if he's willing to move up and fight either Castaño or Jermell Charlo. Obviously, he's somebody who's fearless. That's all I'm saying.
Indeed.
For more on this story, check out the Zone News because they got you covered. Speaking of the welterweight division, though, Vergil Ortiz is next. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Man of many skills, and I want to jump right into this. You know, first time I ever saw you play an instrument, you were playing the piano. I don't know what song it is. I'm not good with music at all. But we have an ongoing debate on this particular show with our producer who loves heavy metal. and I see you play some heavy metal on your guitar, but I know you love hip hop too. You part of this young generation. If you had to compare the two genres, hip hop or Metallica, one of them has to go, has to never exist.
Metallica, you act
Which
like
one?
Metallica
No,
is
no,
the
no,
whole
sorry.
genre.
No, sorry. I didn't. I worded that wrong. Heavy metal or hip hop, one genre has to go.
Man, I gotta say hip hop has to go. Not saying it's not
Oh, shoot.
I'm not saying it's
Cut the
not good.
camera. Cut the camera, bro. Stop.
My goodness. Listen, what part? You're from Texas?
Yeah, I'm from Dallas.
You're from Dallas. I mean, hip hop is big in Dallas, but nevertheless, listen, that's your opinion, but you're talented on instruments and music. Do you see yourself wanting to pursue it professionally during boxing or after boxing?
Maybe not professionally. I just want to get good at it. Like, I feel like I just like learning new stuff. Learning stuff like keeps me going. Like learning new stuff on the guitar, it's really motivating. It's pleasurable to me. It's bad like just hearing myself play.
Hey, Vergil, you see where Tyson Fury sometimes after he wins, he sings? Would you, like, after you win, after you knock somebody out, because that's all you do is knock people out, would you bring your guitar in the ring and play us something?
You know what? That actually be pretty bad. I'd have to practice it before.
Right.
It can't be no impromptu stuff because I'm not good at that stuff. But
Right.
if I practice it and we get it all set up, then I'd do something.
Or, you know what you should do? Walk into the ring playing something.
That'd be kind of hard. I got my
Play your
gloves
own
on.
intro
Oh,
music.
he has gloves on, man.
It'd be kind of hard unless they let me put my gloves on in the ring. But yeah,
Or you fake it then. You got to fake it.
yeah, that'd
That's
probably be
funny.
the way to go.
All right, so listen, speaking of music, what do you plan on walking out to in this fight?
Man, I don't even know. I had it my way the last time. Like, they did like a little pre-build up. I got my heavy metal in, and then I also got like the Mexican Spanish in my actual walkout. So I got both parts of me in the walkout. But I don't know how they're doing it this time. But we still, honestly, sometimes I don't even know the song choice until like the day before.
All right, so forget the song. What about the opponent, McKinson? Does he get you excited? Because a lot of fans are not excited with this opponent.
I wouldn't necessarily say excited. I know that this fight is gonna be how do I say, like,
Showcase fight?
it's gonna be a complicated fight for me.
Oh,
And this is a fight that is gonna show new Vergil, because I haven't really been in with someone that moves a lot besides like Brad Solomon, but I feel like this guy, he's younger, he's undefeated, he's hungry. So, it's gonna be a different me that you're gonna see in there.
Well, you're speaking of a different you have a different trainer, right? Now, no longer working with Robert Garcia, you're working with Manny Robles. Can you elaborate a little bit about the change in trainer? And I'm not sure if you spoke to other people about it, but not us, on why the change.
Yeah, so basically, look, so here's how it is. My dad has been training me since I started boxing. I was 5 years old. When I go to California, he was still giving me mitts and all that stuff. When I go home, he's the one giving me mitts. When I'm sparring in California, he's in my corner. To me, he was always my trainer from the start. I went to other training camps and I had help. We had help, but as I honestly hardly see any change besides location. And yes, Manny Robles is the one helping us now. And of course, we have some other guys in there like Estrella helping me as well. And, we got Hector Beltran giving me on the mitts as well. Sparring's different, but I feel like it's pretty much the same. My dad's the one that's always on my when I'm hitting the bags, telling me what I'm doing right, doing wrong.
You pretty much had the same trainer your whole career. You just added people to the team to help out.
Basically,
and bring a little different
we're
perspective.
adding stuff to the stockpile, not taking away or replacing.
Wait,
that's what we're doing.
There were rumors that you were going to train with Eddie Reynoso. Was that one of the guys that you were going to add to the team at some point?
It was true. Yeah, we were at that gym for maybe a couple of weeks, but it was just us, and that just further proves my point. It was my dad that's been there this whole time for me. So and yeah, pretty much that's it.
All right, so what about game plan? Because who devises the game plan? Because if it's, let's just say if it was Robert Garcia devising the game plan, maybe he'll feel offended by what you're saying right now.
Well, I feel like we all know how my training camps went, and I don't think anyone will be offended because we all know.
We don't know though. You all know, but
Yeah.
we don't know. Let us know.
Yeah, I know that. But like I said, it's always just been me and my dad from the start.
All right, I got
All right,
you.
well, listen, I want to address the elephant in the room. Well, it's not the elephant in the room, but a lot of fight fans, for some reason, want to size you up with Boots Ennis because you guys are the two hottest welterweight, the youngest hottest welterweights in the division. But a lot of people feel like it's too early to match you guys up. Down the line, it could be a mega fight. But are you the type of guy that if it presented itself, you would want to smoke with a guy like that?
If the opportunity is there and he's in my way, I'm gonna take him out. That's my job as a boxer, And so that being said, if it comes to a point where our crossroads, meet, then the fight's gonna happen.
Do you think that you guys have to get together before you get a title shot, or do you think you'll probably get a title shot without seeing them? Because it looks like eventually we might have one champion in that division.
I'm not. That really depends on how everything plays out. It depends, and I wouldn't say necessarily if the champions give us the opportunity, because everyone says that everyone's ducking everyone. I don't think anyone's ducking anyone. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of who the organizations want people to fight who or whatever. So it's not always us. I would even say it's hardly us.
Who do you think is the guy to beat in that division outside of yourself? Who would you say is the most talented welterweight?
I mean, I would have to say Spence or Crawford are, arguably number 1 and 2 interchangeably.
So in no order, any given day, one of those guys could be better than the other.
It's one of those,
All right, so you know how Edgar Berlanga had a bunch of first round knockouts. You have all knockouts. Is that pressure? Do you go in there saying, man, I'm not gonna necessarily look for the knockout, but I really want it though?
I feel like everyone wants the knockout, whether they're 18-0, 18 knockouts, or they have one loss and 100 wins, or vice versa, or anything like that. I feel like everyone wants the knockout.
Yeah.
I feel like if anyone else was in my position, I feel like they would probably feel a little bit of pressure. But honestly, if I go the distance, that's just more experience for me. My main goal is just to fight, look good doing it, because people win fights, but they don't look good doing it.
Well, before you get out of here, right, if you get past this opponent right here, which a lot of people feeling that you will stop McKinson, what are you going to ask for next?
I would love a world opportunity shot. You got Spencer Nogas fighting pretty soon. Crawford, I don't know what's going on over there right now, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try to unify. So I see what you're saying about the whole one champion thing. It just depends how it goes.
Exactly. That's what I mean. All right, so listen, last question. After this fight, what car are you going to buy?
I was actually looking at, there's this, it's like a refurbished version of the Mustang. It's blue and white stripes. It's basically the one that I got now, but it's the older version, but the parts and everything in it is brand new. And it looks bad.
So you prefer old muscle cars than the new modern cars? That's your style?
I would say no. I prefer the newer cars, but I just feel like this one it hits different. Like it just looks bad. I feel like it's a head turner for sure.
All right, well, listen, good luck on the 19th, man. Looking forward to seeing you in the ring, man. Vergil Ortiz.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Barack, before we get out of here, here's a guy that used to be a young killer like the young Vergil Ortiz, Sergey Kovalev. Remember, he was a knockout artist. Well, his manager, Igis, tells the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast that Sergey Kovalev seeks to fight 3 or 4 more times at cruiserweight, win a strap, and then sail off to the sunset, picking some checks while he's at it. Barack, does he succeed at cruiserweight?
That's a hard question. First of all, that's the biggest jump. you know, between weight classes. When you got light heavyweight at 175 to cruiserweight, which is 200. Now I know WBC is trying to make it 190 again, back to 190, but everybody's not following suit right now. So that's a 25-pound jump, and even 15 is a lot. Now, the reason why I say that's tough is because he hasn't shown himself to be the crusher anymore. He wasn't the crusher against Canelo. He's way bigger than Canelo. I didn't see that old guy that dropped Andre Ward that was knocking out everybody, Jean Pascal twice, like just knocking Chilemba, just knocking everybody out. I don't see that guy anymore. And if you're tentative against Canelo and not sitting down on your punches where you got people thinking that it was fixed, I don't. But people was thinking, oh, that was fake. He wasn't even letting go of his hands and real punches. That's the way it looked. It just didn't look like he was sitting down on any of his punches. How is he gonna do that in a division 25 pounds north of your division? I don't know, you know?
Well, it remains to be seen, but I'm pretty sure we'll see it. All right, that's our show for today. Peace and love. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.